respected teachers, parents, and my dear friends. In this fruitful event, I would like to speak a short story with you. A man came to Ibrahim bin Adham radiallahu anh and said, Abu Ishaq radiallahu anh, I am unable to control myself. Please give me something to help me with it. Said Ibrahim, if you accept 5 conditions and able to put them into practice, your disobedience will not cause you any problem. Just tell me what they are, Abu Ishaq radiallahu anh. The man said, the first is, when you want to disobey Allah, you do not eat anything He provides. Then how will I get anything to eat? Everything on the earth is from Him. So it is right to eat His provision and disobey Him. No, it is not. What is the second condition? When you want to disobey Him, move off His land. That is even more difficult, exclaimed the man. In that case, where will I live? So, is it right to eat His provision and live on His land and disobey Him? What is the third condition? When you want to disobey Him, in spite of eating His provision and living on His land, find a place where He will not to see you and disobey Him there. Tell me the fourth condition, that when the angel of death arrives to take your soul, you said to him, give me a reprieve so that I can repent and act righteously for Allah. But he want to listen to me, that if you cannot ward off death long enough to give yourself time to repent, and you know that when it comes there will be no reprieve, how can you hope to be saved? What is the fifth? That when the angel of death, fire come to you to take to the fire, you do not go with them, they will take me, whether I like it or not, exclaimed the man. So, how can you hope to be saved? Enough, enough, Ibrahim. Ask Allah's forgiveness and I turn to Him. The man's repentance was sincere. From that time on, he was assiduous in his worship and avoids acts disobedience until the day he died. I conclude my story. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
Brothers and sisters, on this beautiful moment, I would like to tell a story. I'm sure it will be useful in our life journey. There was a man who had 4 sons. He wanted to his sons to learn not to judge things quickly. So he sent them each a quest in turn to go and look at a pear tree that was a great distance away. The first son went in winter, the second son in the spring, the third in summer, the youngest son in the fall. When they had all gone and come back, he called them together to describe what they had seen. The first son said, the tree was ugly, bent and twisted. The second son said, on it was covered with green buds and full of promise. The third son disagreed. He said, it was laden with blossoms, smelled so sweet and looked so beautiful. It was the most graceful thing he had ever seen. The last son disagreed with all of them. He said, it was ripe and drooping with fruits, full of life and fulfillment. The man then explained to his sons that they were all right because they had each seen but only one season in the tree's leaf. He told them that you cannot judge a tree or a person by only one season, and that the essence of who they are and the pleasure, joy, and love that come from that life can only be measured at the end when all the seasons are up. If you give up when it's winter, you will miss the promise of your winter, the promise of your spring, the beauty of your summer, fulfillment of your fall. Don't let the pain of one season destroy the joy of all the rest. Don't judge life by one difficult season. Persevere through the difficult patches, and better times are sure to come sometime or later. I conclude my story. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Respected parents, teachers, and my all dear friends. Today I am going to tell a story with you. Junaid Baghdadi earned his livelihood as a professional wrestler. As was the norm, the leader of Baghdad announced one day, "Today, Junaid Baghdadi will demonstrate his skill as a wrestler. Is there anyone to challenge him?" An elderly man shakily stood up with his neck quivering and said, "I will enter the contest with you." Whoever was witness to this scene could not contain themselves. They burst out howling with laughter, clapping their hands. The king was bound by the law. He could not stop someone who of own free will entered the boat. An elderly man was given permission to enter the ring. He was about 65 years old. When Junaid Baghdadi entered the ring, he was dumbfounded, as was the king and the spectators of the kingdom who were present. That single thought that occupied their minds, how will this old man able to fight? The old man addressed Junaid with these words, "Lend me your ears," he then whispered. "I know it is not possible for me to win this bout against you. But I may say, a descendant of Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My children who were starving at home, are you prepared to sacrifice your honor, your name and position for the love of Allah's Prophet, and lose this bow to me? If you do this, I will be able to collect the prize money and thereby have the means to feed my children and myself for an entire year. I will be able to settle all my debts, and above all, the master of both the worlds will be pleased with you. Are you, oh Junaid, not willing to sacrifice your honor for the sake of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam?" In a display forever, Junaid Baghdadi executed a couple of maneuvers demonstrating his feat, so that king does not suspect any conspiracy. That night, Junaid Baghdadi had a dream of Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who said, "Oh Junaid, you have sacrificed your honor, your nationally acclaimed fame, your name and position, which was heralded Baghdadi in the expression of your love, my children who were starving. As on today, your name is recorded in the register of Awliya." Thereafter, this great wrestler learned to defeat his nerves and became one of the most eminent awliya of his time. I conclude my story. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, on this joyful moment, I would like to share a story with you. Telling the truth is a very good habit. If you always speak the truth, you can save yourself from a lot of trouble. Here's a story of a man who did a lot of bad things, but his promise to tell the truth saved him. Once, a man came to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, "O Prophet of Allah, I have many bad habits. Which one of them should I give up first?" The Prophet said, "Give up telling lies first and always speak the truth." The man promised to do so. He went home. At night, the man was about to go to stealing. Before sitting down, he thought for a moment about the promise he made with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If tomorrow the Prophet asked me, what shall I say? Shall I say, I went out to stealing? No, I cannot say that. But nor can I. If I tell the truth, everyone will start hating me and call me a thief. I would punish for stealing. So the man decided not to steal that night and gave up his bad habits. Next day, he felt like drinking wine. When he was about to do, he said to himself, what shall I say to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam if he asked me, what did I do during the day? I cannot tell a lie. And if I speak the truth, people will hate me. Because a Muslim have not allowed to drink wine. So he gave up his idea of drinking wine. In this way, whenever the man thought of doing something bad, he remembered the promise to tell the truth. One by one, he gave up his bad habit and became a good Muslim and a very good person. If you always speak the truth, you can be a good Muslim and a very good person whom Allah likes and favors. If Allah, our Creator, is pleased with us, He will reward us with heaven, which is a place of happiness and joy. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Respected parents, teachers, and all my dear friends. In this beautiful day, I would to say about Abdul Qadir Jilani Qaddasallahu Sirruhu al-Aziz. Abdul Qadir Jilani was an eminent Islamic scholar born in the 11th century CE Persia. Early stories of Abdul Qadir Jilani describes him as youth with a strong inclination for learning with a pious mother who encouraged her son to acquire knowledge. The following incident is narrated in a number of biographies of Abdul Qadir Jilani. At the age of 18, he asked permission from his mother to travel to Baghdad to pursue his education. Baghdad then was the hub of political, commercial, and cultural activities and the center of world learning. On hearing this, his mother was more than happy to send her son off to follow the path of higher scholarship. It was for such a purpose she had saved 40 gold coins for Abdul Qadir Jilani as she prepared supplies for his journey. She saved the coins into the lining of Abdul Qadir's coat for safekeeping. Before he joined the caravan to travel to Baghdad, her parting advice to her son was, whenever you speak, speak the truth. Remember that Prophet Muhammad said, truthness leads to righteousness, and righteousness leads to paradise. And the Quran tells us, oh, you who believe, be careful on your duty to God, and be with the truthfulness. En route to Baghdad, the caravan was assaulted by a band of robbers, as the thugs began to extract all the valuables from the travelers. While searching Abdul Qadir's belongings, the robber asked, do you have any valuables? Abdul Qadir calmly replied, yes. On hearing this, the robber frantically searched further, but could not find anything. The robber took Abdul Qadir to his leader and said, this boy says he has valuables, but I cannot find anything on him. The leader of the robbers asked Abdul Qadir, are you hiding any valuables? Again Abdul Qadir answered, yes. The robber asked, what are you hiding? Abdul Qadir replied, 40 gold coins. Upon further searching, the robber discovered the coins hidden in the lining of Abdul Qadir's coat. Among all the chaos and panic stricken the travelers, Abdul Qadir's unfrozen demeanor he was hiding was perplexing to the robber. The robber was now curious to know more about this boy, who was not afraid and insisted on speaking the truth. The robber asked, what is your name and where do you come from? He got a reply, my name is Abdul Qadir. I come from the province of Gilan in Persia. Where are you going? I am going to Baghdad. What do you plan to do in Baghdad? I want to study with the greatest scholar to gain knowledge. Why didn't you hide the truth and your gold coin saved from us? Abdul Qadir related the advice his mother gave him and the directive of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and the Quran to always speak the truth. On hearing this, the robber overcome to remorse and exclaimed to his companions, "This boy is fearless and has an unshakable faith in God, and he has an courage to stand up people like us. Indeed, his mother taught him wisely. He is a true example for being a Muslim." Holding his head is saying, tears started to roll his face. He embraced Abdul Qadir and asked for forgiveness. Abdul Qadir responded, "You need only to pray to God and ask for forgiveness. God willing you will amend your ways." On hearing this, the leader of the robbers told his henchman to return everything that was taken from the travelers. Then he cried out, "Oh God, this young boy has shown us the straight path. Forgive us and guide us to the right way." This is how a simple moral value of truthness taught by a mother to a young boy affected a band of robbers to change their lives. Abdul Qadir went on to become a greatest scholar and the teacher of Islamic jurisprudence. I am concluding my story about Abdul Qadir Jilani. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Respected teachers, parents, and my dear friends, on this beautiful event, I would like to share a story with you. Many years ago, there once lived a man who didn't believe in Allah, and because he didn't believe in Allah, he would mock at all the Muslims about in believing in one Allah. It so happened that a sheikh was told about a man and his wicked ways. He thought long and hard about a plan, and at the last come with a plan that inshallah would work. He challenged all those who didn't believe in God and fixed time and date for this challenge. This challenge was to take place on an open ground, in which he proved to them that there was a God, only one God, Allah. On this day, thousands of people turned up for this event. Everyone, including the Muslims, were curious to see how the Sheikh would prove on Allah to them. So the Muslims were seated on one side and the disbelievers on the other side. 5 minutes take it by then, but the Sheikh was nowhere to be seen, but he had not turned up. The speaker of the disbelievers stood up and spoke to the people. "It seems that we all are wasting our time. Even the Sheikh knows that there is no God. That's why he decided not to attend this meeting." Just at that moment, the Sheikh arrived. "What took you so long? It seems that yourself are in doubt there is a God," laughed the disbelievers. But the Sheikh was replied in a calm voice, "You see, on my way here, there was a road to cross. I waited for the boats, but I could not see one. All of a sudden, a nearby tree walked two birds and fell on in front of me. The planks peeled off automatically and it started to chop itself into planks all by itself. Then the beads and the planks began to fix and it new beautiful boat. I quickly get in the boat and it started to row all by itself. This is how I got here." The disbeliever laughed and told all the Muslims, "What kind of the sheikh have you elected as your speaker? He insane. How can a tree walk? How can a tree peel itself? How can a tree chop itself and form it into a boat?" Then Sheikh spoke, "This is just what I wanted to hear, just as tree can't form it itself into a boat. How can the sun rise all by itself, morning at its correct movement and exact time?" The disbeliever laughed and told all the Muslims, "What kind of the sheikh have you elected as your speaker? He insane. How can a tree walk? How can a tree peel itself? How can a tree chop itself and form it into a boat?" I conclude here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Respected teachers, parents, and my dear friends, on this beautiful event, I would like to tell a short story with you. A Bedouin came to Rasulullah and told him, "Give me from what Allah gave you, not from the wealth of your mother, nor from the wealth of your father." The Sahaba were furious at the man and stepped forward to discipline him for what he said. Rasulullah commanded everyone to leave him. Then by the hand, Rasulullah took him home, opened his door and said, "Take what you wish and leave what you wish." The man did so after he completed. Rasulullah asked him, "Have I honored you?" "Yes, by Allah," said the Bedouin. "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah." When the Sahaba heard of how the man changed, Rasulullah took them. "Verily the example of myself, you and this Bedouin is that of a man who had his camel run away. The townspeople tried capturing the camel, running and shouting after the camel, only driving its future away. The man would shout, 'Leave me and my camel, I know my camel better.' Then he took some grass in his hand, refueled it in front of the camel, and let it come willingly. By Allah, had I left you to this Bedouin, you would have hit him, hurt him. He would have left without Islam a valley and endured hellfire." Dears, here we have a great lesson from the story, that we should approach the things with prudence and wisdom. I conclude here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon to all. Today I am going to tell a story. The title of the story is The Clever Fish. One day, a fisherman was fishing into a river as usual. He threw his net into a river. He just sat waiting though for fish to get here, so that he could sell a load of fish in the market and get some good money from the fish. After some time, fisherman hooked some mussel and basil in that net. Thinking he must get a load of fish in that net, he acted to count net out of water. But he saw a tiny little fish in that net. Suddenly, the tiny little fish started talking to him. The tiny little fish said to the fisherman, "Oh, fisherman, please, please leave me, otherwise I will die out of water." But the fisherman did not give any attention to the request of the fish. But the tiny little fish again said to the fisherman, "Oh, fisherman, I will tell you something which is a huge help. If you leave me back in water, I will tell all my friends about you, and I bring to bank of you first, so that when you come next time, you have much more fish." The fisherman thought to himself, "Oh wow, that's not bad." Thinking, he found a tiny little fish today. Tomorrow I will get a load of fish, because the tiny little fish brings all friends with me. Believe in the word of tiny little fish. Let go fisherman start to tiny little fish into a river. The tiny little were really happy and happily. Never to came back. Poor fisherman. The moral of the story is you have to be really clever. Save your life from shark. Challenges moment. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Good afternoon to all. Today I would like to tell a short story with you. Musab bin Umar was the first ambassador of Rasulullah in Medina. Before Rasulullah had arrived in Medina, Musab taught al-Medina about Islam and they began to earn the deen. This enraged Sa'd bin Ubad, one of the chieftains of Medina. He sheltered his sword and set off for the head of Musab bin Umar. When he confronted Musab, he threatened, "Stop his nonsense, you speak or you shall find yourself dead." Musab replied in that way that should a lesson for us all. This man before him do not stop at rudeness and ignorance. He wanted to slit his throat. Musab said, "Shall we not sit and listen for a few moments? If you agree with what I say, then take it. And if no, we shall dust from this talk." Sat down. Musab spoke about Allah and His Messenger until the face of Sa'd bin Ubad face shone like a full moon, and he said, "What should a person do who wishes to enter into this deen?" After Musab had told him, he said, "There is a man, if he accept into this deen, There shall be no home in Medina that will not become Muslim. Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. When Sa'd ibn Mu'adh heard what was happening, he was infuriated. He left his home to go and the kill man called Musab ibn Umar for the dissension he had caused. He entered upon Musab and announced them all. You shall depart from this religion, you shall depart from this religion, you speak or you shall find yourself dead. Musab replied, shall we not sit and listen for a few moments? If you agree with what I say, then take it. And if no, I shall depart from this talk. Sat. Musa spoke about Allah and His Messenger until the face of Sa'd ibn Ubad fell shone like a full moon, and he said, what should a person do who wishes to enter into this deen? Look at this, what kind words. Sa'd ibn Mu'adh went home to his Medina tribe at night and announced them all. Everything of yours is haram upon me until you all enter into Islam. That night, every home in Medina went to bed with La ilaha illallah. I conclude here. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.